So here we have the Mason left side of the brain talking about how he throws subliminals in all his videos. That's what he was just talking about. I can't watch his videos for very long because the vibration lowers for me, and this is what this video is about: why Masons seem to have that lower vibration. And I've said before in other videos that well, I haven't related it yet, but it's connected to how I've said in other videos, they undergo false rites of passage. Hint on what do you mean? Well, they undergo false rites of passage not through nature, right? Whatever hierarchy exists there and whatever the deal is with nature and getting lifted, right? Through truth and doing God's work, or however it works, right? The natural way, however that works, right? And we'll talk about that. I know how it works. Yes, I do. You bring the dimensions in and your light body impacts you, and you can be at a distance from your light body and a larger distance from your seventh dimensional part of your higher light body. That you can be further away from that than, say, your fifth dimensional, the beginning point of the light body. Anyway, so Masons, they always have to have this, they always seem to have this lower vibration, I've noticed, and it just came to me, it just struck me. And it's because this false rites of passage and all this, they worship demons and all this stuff, right? The big owl, also Baphomet. And what's the commonality there? They're animals. So that's only at the group animal soul level anyway. That itself is, I don't want to say false rites of passage. It is definitely because it's demon worship, but just on the neutral basis of worshipping like animals would be, because it's still like of this world and in the lower end. Now, you could, transverse through that to learn things which can lift you though. So that's why I said it's not necessarily false rites of passage, but definitely when involved with, demonic, satanic, blood, rituals, spirit eating, cooking, whatever they call it, and so on, right? All that elite pedophilic blah 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 stuff that they do. So, when it's connected with that, then of course it's not something ascending, it's definitely a false rites of passage. And we all know about like the Jacob's ladder and all that, just all their stuff. You see all their stuff thrown in together. It might reveal a basic truth that something is the way it is, but then they'll give a post addendum, which means tying of loose ends, which stops the ascension, by the way, because they're keeping it tied up in a lower knot that way. So they'll tell you something that's true, and then they'll add what's the opposite of a supposition? I forgot. A supposition is before, you add something before, but they add something after, like another statement, and it's the way that they use light to pull you into darkness, and darkness knows itself to have all thoughts that exist away from the stream. So do you see the same messages I keep trying to give you in almost every sentence I'm saying, of an or non-ascentive nature? That's what I mean by false rites of passage. And just in the grandiose, obvious, basic terminology, not the natural way, right? Not chosen naturally, so to speak, right? It's from men in a secular cult trying to raise people up unnaturally, synthetically through the world in their own way, aside from nature. So it's definitely all false rites of passage. See? Anyway, thought that was a good example. Definitely do not watch these videos anymore. I use those channels for what do you call it? Like trying to get a gauge on what, you know, the dark side is doing, how it behaves, what it thinks. And obviously that's, you know, allows you to know the enemy. And, you know, you guys have got to wake up. Like, this is what people are watching his videos for. They feel the truth and they want to be in a community of people and feel better, because that makes them feel better. Then, you know, if you're alone and not doing great work, you're just bored. That's why I'm not bored, because I'm always on with the great work, with my magnus opus. You know, my purpose, what I'll be leaving here is my perspective angle of reality, which nobody else can do, because it's my specific angle of reality. Now that's real rites of passage through yourself. It's also known as the indigo evolution. Anyway, up and out of this matrix here. So, yeah, I just watch these videos, sometimes just the beginnings of them. I can't really go very long into them. The most I've ever watched is half an hour. That was like a year ago, and one video like a few months ago. It's the same with some of the other channels that, you know, I talk against. It's because the average lower vibration of the channels and the non-ascentive, non-pushing you higher, really. Sometimes it can almost seem like it, and it's a little nudge, but then, and he's very good at showing this as an example, this guy, this channel, but then they pull you right back down. And this is how this whole matrix works, you know. And, you know, the up and down of energy is the movement of energy, the invigoration of the life force energy is what they get as loosh. In the end, I think it's literally chi energy that they take. That's why sometimes it can even end in a stomach ache, because, you know, chi is culminated in qui in the bottom danjen, the stomach brain, or the stomach region, or the solar plexus region. Anyway, so there you go. You know, that's why I think a lot of people are addicted to this guy, because he'll grab the truths, but then watch the dark side tone of pulling you into darkness, which pulls you away from actual vectorization and ascension, hence.